today we're talking to you about the Bumbo Floor Seat, the one that you've probably heard from all of your parent friends that you must purchase.
We're going to quickly run through a few reviews, talk about our experiences, and then give our general consensus of what we thought. Hey guys, my name's Marvin and this is my wife Megan.
This is our channel where we talk honestly about navigating new parenthood. We give you product reviews and our best parenting tips.
Alright, so let's go ahead and jump in with the Bumbo. So this is the Bumbo Floor Seat. The company's called Bumbo and it was basically made so you can put your child in it between the ages of 3 and 6 months, and it aids them to be able to sit up. So it's this soft polyurethane material. You can see that the seat's deep and the back's high. So it puts your child in a position where they're sitting up relatively straight even if they aren't able to sit up fully on their own. There are a couple different websites where we saw this for sale. I think Target was where we saw it the cheapest. It was $39.99. And then we saw it several other places for $49.99.
Most other places was $44.99. And just to note, there are a couple versions of this seat. This is the newest version of the floor seat that has the buckles added in. There's also a tray that can be added on, and then there is a different version of the seat that comes with the tray already.
Yeah, that's the multi-seat. It's a little bit more expensive, but from what some of the reviews I read, I think that one addresses some of the problems that they had with this one initially.
Yeah, and if you do get this version and want to add the tray on, I believe it's around $12. We have the aqua color. It comes in 6 different colors. There's a mint and a blue as well, so this is aqua. But with this product, there are definitely some mixed reviews. So we wanted to kind of talk about what we found online, good reviews, bad reviews, and overall what the majority kind of tends to sway towards. And then we're going to give you our own opinion and whether or not we ultimately recommend it.
What do we notice from some of the reviews right off the bat was that people either wouldn't strap their child in, they don't like the straps, or for one reason or another they weren't following the instructions and then they had problems. So it's not meant to be used on top of a table or on top of a surface. It's a floor seat. And so it's meant to be used on the floor while you're interacting with them at a very close distance. I mean, you wouldn't want to leave them in the room and then go check on the laundry and come back. Obviously, it's going to have your baby sitting in an upright position. The chair allows for a range of motion. They can turn to the side, they can use their hands, whereas if you're holding them all day, there's not as much freedom of movement. You know, they can sit in it for 10-15 minutes before they get bored, which is great. You can read to them in it. You can feed them in it. It's easy to clean, it's soft, it's light, only weighs about 3 pounds. They recommend that you can use the chair for anywhere from 10 pounds to 22 pounds?
I also read 30 pounds, so I guess it depends on which website you're looking at.
Yeah, I wouldn't use it costs 20 pounds.
Alright, so I'm going to talk to you about some of the cons that we saw in the online reviews. People typically do not like the buckle situation. They like the version of the Bumbo seat that they had that do not have these. And the reason being is that it is kind of hard. Like, I don't know if you can see here, this clip in the front that these 2 straps have to fasten into is very short, and once you have a baby in the seat, it's hard to get this buckle. Another thing that people do not particularly like is that these little leg holes here, depending on the shape of your baby, which a lot of babies have some leg rolls if we're being honest, and it makes it a little bit difficult to fit them in here. Also, a con that I've read is that this front section tends to get weak and crack open. Yeah, and I don't know that that's super common. I mean, ours has been fine. We've had it for several months, but I guess that is something to consider. Also, the tray, if you do get the add-on tray, that is apparently really difficult to fasten onto the seat once the baby is sitting in there, because this is a pretty tight squeeze.
We have a chunky monkey, so it's tough to tell when this chair is no longer going to be adequate or when the floor seat's not going to work for you. So as they're approaching that 20 to 22 pound range, they start to lean back and roll to the sides. And as soon as you can see them leaning back and trying to get out, even if they're strapped in, they may reach for a toy and the chair may fall over. And so the heavier they get, the more likely that is to occur. Alright guys, so a couple final thoughts on the Bumbo floor seat. I think it's good. I think overall, after having read the reviews and our experiences with it, it's useful. It has utility. If you put it on the floor and use it how it's supposed to be used, it works out great. It's not a babysitter. You can't use it and just leave the room and come back and expect for it to have watched your kid while you weren't there. I mean, it definitely is it's a hands-on tool, and it's good for when your child's in that 2 to 6 month range where they're within the weight limits of the product.
So personally, I'm not a huge fan of this product, and the reason being is that to me, it gives you the false impression that this seat is going to help your child learn how to sit up. And the reason I just don't agree with that is after doing more research from like occupational therapists and stuff, their recommendations are more against this product. And that's because like for Teddy, when we started using it, honestly think it was too early for him. Even though he was ahead of the curve, it supported his back, but I would see him kind of leaning over to the side. And he just didn't really like being in this chair for very long. So ultimately, would I recommend it? It really depends on what you're going to use it for. I think for us, the most utility we've gotten out of it is feeding him, which has been great. It does work for that. You can't leave the room. Like we said, you have to stay hands-on the whole time.
Right.
But as far as him sitting in here for playing or anything like that, it just doesn't work for him. He's too busy.
You have to remember, too, that part of the way that they're going to learn to sit up is through wobbling and, through sitting and learning to kind of move forward and backward and getting a feel for how far the ground is and that kind of thing.
And really tummy time. This seat to me just doesn't
do it for you?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good as long as parents follow the instructions. Well, that's pretty much it for our review of the Bumbo seat. Take a look at some of our other videos and check us out on the socials. Do people say that? That was bad. If you're interested in buying it, you can take a look at the link below.
If you enjoyed this review or found it helpful, give us a like or go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you can see all of our upcoming product reviews and parenting tips.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
She did deep research. It was very deep. That in-depth research. Everybody stop talking.